Okay, everybody, I know it has been a while, but since it's been snowing, everybody's been in the house, and it's been a noisy freaking house. But enough about me. Before we start, let me explain that, like Aizawa's hair, Deku's hair go into a Shirakumos style whenever he's fighting or serious, mad. Now let's get right into it. Part 3 of If Deku was Shirakumo's son. Recap. Let's see. We left off after the USJ, and we've seen the villain's POV at the ball. Now back to Deku's point of view. The bus ride back to school was quiet, but Deku could feel that almost everyone was staring at him in amazement. Then he felt two hateful stares. He thought it was a bit weird, but he didn't care enough to confront them. When they got back to school, they walked into the classroom and took their seats. We're going to give y'all a 2-week break since we've gotten attacked and we need to figure out how they got the information. Aizawa said in his usual nonchalant tone. What's the catch, Mr. Aizawa? Deku would interrupt. When y'all come back, we'll have a sports festival. It's pretty important, so y'all better train well. Nice. I'll finally be able to show I'm better than that Midoriya kid. Bakugo and Todoroki would almost say in sync, although Todoroki would only say it to himself while Bakugo blurted it out. Izuku raised an eyebrow. It's nice to know that I've got a reason to show off. Not so fast, Aizawa would mutter. Oh, why not? Izuku would ask. Remember, a lot of people would be watching the sports festival, Izuku. Aizawa would say, glaring at Izuku. Oh, right. Izuku would sigh and slump back into his seat. What's his problem? Bakugo would bark. None of your concern, Bakugo. Aizawa would say, in the almost on cue, the bell would ring. As everyone would be getting their stuff and heading home, Todoroki would begin to get curious about what did Aizawa mean. You know, he would come up with a few conspiracies, and there would be one conspiracy to fit the situation. So Todoroki would full-heartedly believe that conspiracy. Now, on to the fourth day of the 2-week break. Aizawa would have came over to Izuku's house and told him that he would be big, so he would just see him next Monday. And Izuku would say, alright, well, we gotta figure out what happened, so I guess that's only fair. But you're here today to help me train, right? Aizawa would say, well, yeah, and I brought a person here to help too. Izuku said, 3, 2, 1. I am here! Young Midoriya. Wait, how did you know I was coming? Izuku would say, well, it wasn't that hard, seeing towards if I'm training, it would have to be with you and Aizawa. And Alma would say, well, okay, let's see if we can find more ways to use your power. All Might would have been training Deku more on his strength, and Aizawa would be training him on his strategy. Izuku would have came up with a new move. When he would punch his air and focus all his energy into that punch, there would be a big cloud coming off of his fist, and then a big old shockwave after it. That would be a new move. And if y'all want, y'all can name it. And if y'all don't name it, I'll come up with a name for it by the next part. By the time he perfected this move, it was at the end of the 3 weeks. So he had spent a lot of time, and he got a little bit better. But the most important thing is he gained a new move. And Aizawa wasn't there for the last 2 weeks, so he had to train with All Might. But now it's time to go back to school and the sports festival. So back to school, Aizawa gets there first, which is surprising, and then Izuku gets there, makes a cloud underneath Aizawa, floats him up, and has them laying down. And when the students get here, they like, this normal. They sit down and wait until the bell rings, and when the bell rings, Izuku and Aizawa gets up, Izuku gets in his seat. Aizawa stands next to his desk and says, okay, now y'all need to go to the gym and put on y'all uniforms for the sports festival. And then we're going to load onto the bus, then go there. Everyone would have got up, went to the gym. After they put their uniforms on, they would start to go outside from the UA. And they would get onto the bus. Ida would try to put them onto the bus single file, but it all would have been pointless anyway since it's open seating. And on the way there, Todoroki would begin to get a little more skeptical about Izuku, and it would start questioning Izuku's and Aizawa's relationship, and debating a few other topics. Bakugo just can't wait to whoop this little Nord's butt, although we both know that that's not gonna happen. And everyone else is just excited all the way to the sports festival. When they got there, Izuku would be told by Aizawa that he's the class representative, so he would have to do a speech. Izuku would be freaked out by this, seeing towards that he didn't know, and now he has to figure out a whole speech to do. And then Aizawa also says that it's going to be about a 20-minute wait until they get announced onto the cloud and the festival starts. About 5 minutes later, Todoroki walks up to Midoriya. He tries to look intimidating, but it's not really intimidating Izuku that much. He says, Midoriya, seeing towards you're the most capable here, I will beat you with only my eyes. Bakugo would get very mad at this, and he would yell, hey, what about me? I'll beat both of y'all losers. Die! And at least it will keep the contest fun. Now, let's see who's going to get first place, because I'm definitely not holding back against y'all. So if you want to fight, then bring it on. And neither should y'all, because unlike Todoroki here, we shouldn't hold back if we want to win. If y'all hold back, then y'all don't deserve to win. This will get everybody riled up, and then Izuku will say, no, leave me alone. I have a speech to write in the Medal of 5. Okay, y'all better get up. It's almost time for y'all to go up there. Aizawa would just say, but my speech, what am I supposed to do? Well, I guess you gotta eyeball it. You should do better under pressure anyway, Aizawa would say. I guess you're right, Mr. Aizawa. But it still would have been a good idea if you would have warned me ahead. They would all walk up into the stadium for them to hear, okay, now announcing Class 1A. And then you would hear the crowd cheer. And the students from the other classes would start to get a bit jealous because they think that only reason they're getting more praise is because of their title. And they think that they don't own up to any of it. Then Izuku would walk to the podium and he would say, hi, I'm Izuku Midoriya, Class 1A's representative. I would say something like, do your best, but we all know that if you don't bring it, someone from another class will sweep you off your feet and take your spot in this class. So don't do your best. Do the greatest of all time. Because if you don't, someone else will. If you came here to have fun, then have fun. But if you came here to show that you're the best, then show that you're the best. And with that, the crowd would cheer Class 1B. Well, almost all of it except for Monoma would cheer. Class 1H would cheer. Shinso would be surprised because he thought that they was just a bunch of stuck-ups. And then Midnight would take the mic and say, okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that speech. But now the students are going to participate in a race first, and then a couple more activities after that. All the students here to participate start heading into the entrance of the race. When you hear Mike yell, go, Start running. Nothing is off limits. Use your quirks, use your brains, have a fun time, and win. All the students would start heading towards the race area while the crowd cheered, because mainly the male people in the crowd, because of seeing Midnight. When they got to the entrance of the race, Deku took one step back because he felt something was coming. As he took one step back, he noticed that everyone around him started getting stuck in the little tunnel. And Izuku would just create a cloud and fly over the tunnel, and he would meet most of Class 1A members at the starting line. As soon as Mike yelled go, Todoroki would have frozen the ground. Izuku would have jumped up just in time, creating a cloud for his landing. And then Todoroki would notice that Izuku wasn't the only one who avoided his ice. He took note that most of the Class 1A members was expecting him to do that. And then he thought in his mind, I gotta try something else. Izuku would fly over the whole obstacle course. Bakugo and Todoroki would try to catch up to him, but giving no luck, because there wasn't a chance that they would catch up to the speed of his Nimbus. Before anyone knew it, Izuku was at the finish line, and the crowd was cheering, and Todoroki was behind him, and Bakugo was in third, since Bakugo got a little distracted while seeing how fast Deku was going. Everyone else would get the places that they got in canon, since I don't really see why there should be a change in that. And when everyone got to the finish, Yoravaka and Sue would congratulate Izuku for getting first. Midnight would have grabbed the mic. Then she would explain that in order to choose the next round, she would spin a mystery villain wherever it lands on, they would have to do. It lands on the cavalry battle, and she explains that there has to be at least 4 people on your team. You can either be offense or defense on the team. One person has to be carried, and they will give headbands, and whoever was in first place would get a 1 million point headband. Izuku would feel everybody start to look at him with menacing eyes. Izuku would shrug it off, and then he would ask Midnight if he can be on his own team. This would surprise everybody, but surprisingly, Midnight said, well, if you want to be on your own team, then I suppose you can. There's no rules against that. And Izuku said, well, great. If I have a team, I don't want them to be bored. Everybody else but Izuku would start looking for their teammates, and for simplicity's sake, the people who was on Deku's team joined up on a team and added 1 extra person. And then the round would start. Izuku immediately would start floating up because he knew that everyone was going to charge at him. And he was right, they did. But to no availance. But to no availance, because Izuku just floated way high up in the sky, so no one can reach him. And if they did find a way to get that high, he would just move around and avoid them. Uraraka would even try to reach him, but she would start getting nauseous. And then she would try to put one of her teammates up there, and she would start getting nauseous again, since Izuku just started moving farther and farther away from her. At one point, everybody seemed to give up on reaching Izuku, but Todoroki's team started heading towards Izuku, and Todoroki, he made a huge slab of ice and told Ida to run up there and see if he can grab his headband. Ida would run up there using the Cipro Burst, and Izuku would just simply move out the way, since the ice was very, very tall. It would have taken a bit more time than canon to reach him. That would give Izuku some reaction time. So he would move out the way, and Todoroki's plan wouldn't have worked. Then Bakugo tried to get up there with his explosions, but he ended up straining his hand. And about 15 minutes later, President Mike would announce that the cavalry battle is over, and Izuku got first place with no team, and everyone else passed in canon. I'm sorry guys, but I'm going to end it up here. If you notice, I haven't posted one of these in a long time because I've been dreading editing all day and sitting down for a whole hour just to only end up with 30 minutes. So I figured that if I do shorter videos, then it would take me less time to edit, and then I'll look forward to doing it more. You can always pop in the comment section if you're confused about something. And like I said, with these shorter videos, I'll try to upload more. And also, if you didn't notice, I got inspired by Zethel because his was awesome. And I'm hoping that mine might be good too. I just want to tap into a little bit more of the Shirakumos side. And I haven't done that yet, so stay with me, okay? So that's all for today. Bye. Tune in next time. Hopefully that comes soon.